I was wasting time scrolling through Instagram one day, and the algorithm decided to throw an ad at me. The ad was for this little program that Talking Stick Resort and Casino has, where basically you go in on a Tuesday or a Friday and you learn how to play poker. This sounds exactly like a perfect opportunity for me to do an episode. I mean, they themselves want to teach me, but I need an individual appointment during work hours. So I reached out to our casino contact and I got my own special session scheduled separately. I went out, I parked on the wrong side of the building, I walked through the casino, and I found the poker area. I'd never been in a real casino before other than this one time when there was a wildfire and the fire department was stationed at the casino, and this other time when I was learning how to cook, but that episode hasn't released yet. Or the times that I've gone to a casino and gambled in a video game. Or the times that I played poker in a video game, or when I've seen movies or TV shows about casinos. The only other experience I have with poker isn't even my experience, it's my mom's, and she told me about it. So back when my mom was a kid, my grandpa would play poker, and he was really good at it. And my mom's brother had some friends over, and they were all playing poker with my grandpa. My mom was in a gambling mood, so she decided that she wanted to play too, and my grandpa said, "No, this is for money." So my mom ran off and scrounged up 5 hard-earned dollars and asked to play. My grandpa said, "No, you'll lose all your money." So she countered with, "Maybe I'll win." And she was able to buy in. And then she lost her $5. So I was actually kind of nervous about going in and gambling because I had never done that before. But it was fine. I found the people I was supposed to find. They brought me to dealer Stephanie, and they also gave me a hat and some cheat sheets for what's good and what's not good. Now, if you're a viewer who has seen my other episodes, you might have gotten annoyed at the bouldering or rallycross ones because I kind of made up my own rules as to what counts as a success or a failure. But worry not, I asked Stephanie what counts.
I mean, I would want to say like making it to the money.
Getting to the end sounds kind of ridiculous, like there's no way that that would ever happen. Luckily, she kept talking.
I think just the fact that you're taking it on and doing it is huge because, I mean, it can be nerve-wracking, right? Because you're going to be intimidated by players that are like, have been doing it like for years, so.
Okay, so if we take winning the entire thing to just entering, if you average it out, it's like being in the top 50%, which is kind of where I was going to land anyway. Like getting first would be really crazy, and getting any money would be awesome too. Top 10% would be great. But if I'm like top 50%, beating out half the competition, that's a pretty realistic goal for me to get to. So I learned so many things. The most important things I learned were more of the administrative rules versus what the hands are or whatever. Because in my life, I've had tons of casual exposure to the game. Through movies or my parents watching the World Series of Poker or just knowing what things are for whatever other reason. I know what hands are, and I know mostly where they rank against each other. But you might not. So here's the important stuff.
The goal is to make the best 5-card hand possible. So you're going to get dealt 2 cards, and then there's 5 community cards on the board as well. And you use like any 5-card combination. You can play all 5 on the board. You can use 1 from your hand or 2 from your hand, right, to make the best possible hand. This is the best possible hand you can make. It's called a royal flush. It's all the same suits in sequence order here, and so a 10, a jack, a queen, king, and an ace. That's the best hand you could possibly make. With the 9 of diamonds, this would be a straight flush. So it's not to the ace, it's a 9 through a king, but it's still a flush, but it's a straight flush. So that's your second best hand that you can make. So if a 4 of a kind is 4 cards with your kicker, and it could be any other card for your 5th card, but it's all 4 cards. This hand is called a full house. So you're going to use, it's a 3 of a kind with a pair, basically. So a flush is all cards of the same suit, but not a straight in there. So they can't be in like in order of like, so if I had like 2, 3, 4, 5 and a 6 of spades, that would be a straight flush, but because we have the 7 of spades, it's just a regular flush. So this is a straight. They're all in order, see? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so that's a straight. So a 3 of a kind is 3 of one card and then 2 other cards that don't pair. aces and kings. That's 2 pair, what that looks like. Pair of kings. High card. The ace is the high card. So starting here, we'll have like seat 1, and it goes all the way around, and then seat 8 will be here. And then we have what's called blinds. So our blinds are like a forced bet to create the action, get the action moving for the game. So the person who is the small blind is going to put $2 out, and then the big blind will be $4. So you can either call $4, you can raise to make it 8, or you can just fold, which means you just don't want to call or raise at all. You just give your cards to the dealer and you're out of that specific hand. Everybody will have that option to call, raise, or fold. So then the small blind, because the bet is $4, they either have to match it to make it 4, they could raise to make it 8, or they could fold, and then this $2 will come into the pot.
The most important thing for me to pick up on, which is pretty simple, all things considered, is the basic rules of betting and the blinds and things like that. So we went through the sheet with all the information on it, and bam, here's everything you need to know about poker, and the only way to get better is to actually play. So we had some dealers come by the table and play some hands with me. I got made fun of a little bit, which isn't a problem, and it kind of showed me the way it is at the table. You're sitting there with a bunch of strangers, sure, but over time you can kind of get to know them and banter a little bit. Like, you're stuck with this group of people for a pretty long time until people start dropping off. So we went through a bunch of rounds of regular Texas Hold'em, and then they decided to teach me Omaha, which was also fun.
The 5 lowest cards make your low hand.
Without a pair.
It's, yeah, without a pair.
So the best possible low hand is
But that's not what I'm here for.
Feel free to hang out with us, but
all right.
how do you know? You've passed.
Yay!
How do you know?
So as I was leaving, my dreams were dashed. I was told I wouldn't be allowed to bring my glasses to the real tournament. I understand why. And then my dreams were dashed again. Because it's an active game, I'm not going to be able to move my cameras around once they're placed. And then my dreams were dashed a third time. Because I was playing with a group of however many people that might not want to be recorded, I have to promise to keep them anonymous. But then my dreams were rebuilt. And I was told that this is the first time that this casino has ever allowed anything like this to happen. They're entrusting me to be the pilot of allowing people to record and make content of a poker tournament. What an extremely stressful project this is. With all these rules, I'm going to have to be creative with my editing, which shouldn't be a problem. So I took the stuff they gave me, including my diploma, and I finished out the day. I had little time before the tournament, so I needed to find a way to practice. That means poker night. I invited some people from work over. Colin, who runs my life, and Nicole, who let me tattoo her. This was an excuse to hang out away from work. We all got a meal, and then we went to my house so we could struggle through a game of poker. As practice. It was like herding cats. Nobody knew how to play, so I, a person who themselves had just learned how to play, had to teach these people how to play. And most of them weren't even listening.
It's your turn.
We played one game, and it took so long that it really made me understand why they raised the blinds over time. We didn't, and you could just keep playing and playing and playing and playing. It got to a point where we just started going all in so that we could finish the game faster. It ended up being Nicole, who wanted to lose so that she could talk to my wife, Ava, versus Nicole's husband, Tyler. Tyler ended up winning. And then we all hung out doing other stuff like playing video games or selling jewelry. I kicked them out of my house, and I was definitely ready for the real-life tournament. So the day of the tournament arrives, I drove up and again parked on the wrong side of the building, and then I walked through the entire casino to the poker room and met up with a guy. I got set up at one of the ending tables, so if I did end up making it, I wouldn't have to move my stuff. I met the people that I was going to be playing with, and I give them the rundown of what's going on. I explain I'm doing this video. The first dealer we have is one of the guys that I practiced with way back after my learning session.
This is Tommy, this is Matt. Sweet Foxes.
Hot Ray.
So luckily I already knew him. I asked him how long this tournament could end up being, and he said like 8 to 10 hours. It was then when I realized what I might have gotten myself into. I thought he was kidding, and I was hoping that it wasn't actually going to be 8 to 10 hours. I didn't want to spend all that time there. Remember earlier when I said that my dreams were dashed a bunch of times? Here are my 2 camera angles. We can try to put a graphic over it or something. So as I was playing, I realized I was folding a lot. Kenny Rogers might have known what he was talking about, because more than a few times I was folding on cards that were bad on their own, but by the end of the run would have won. But I was patient. I had my $15,000 in chips that I could slowly whittle down via blinds. So to keep the game moving, every once in a while they change the blinds. Before you know it, you're forced to spend $400 just to stay in the game. Like I said, it keeps the game moving. If you didn't do that, then the 8 to 10 hours would turn into something way more. So I played and folded many hands, and I got something I thought was good. I kept it. So I stayed in. And the lady across from me, she upped it. But you know, I think I've got it. So I'll match. I'll call. Then she kept betting. And I kept being stupid and calling. She took so much of my money. So that was a lesson that I don't think I could have learned in a class. This game isn't just a game of getting the best cards. It's also a game of being aware what other people might have that will beat you. It sounds obvious now, but it was my first time, so give me a break. It's kind of like with blackjack. People think that the goal is to get to 21, but the goal is really just to beat the dealer, which if you stay on a 12, you might beat them. Anyway, she took all my money, and that made me hide back in my shell and keep folding on everything again and not take any risks. The people around me were all getting good hands, and I was getting bad ones, which isn't a big deal. Just fold. Then I started getting some that would have won if I stayed on, but I don't care. You know, I had no way of knowing that that would have won. I had no way of knowing that my 2 and 4 would have turned into a straight. Things like that. But then I finally got something decent, a pair of queens, and I wrote it out, and I finally won a hand. And let me tell you, that was a rush. I was sitting there for so long, doing nothing, and then I finally won. I didn't let it get to my head. I went right back to folding everything. It didn't matter. Eventually I got blinded out and lost. After a couple hours. I didn't stay the 8 to 10. It was like 2 or 3 maybe, which wasn't even close to halfway, and I definitely failed. It was still really fun, and I liked how everyone was friendly with each other while playing, but it's so expensive when you play with real money. Like, I think playing with my friends for, you know, not real money like we did, or like $20 or whatever, it's way more financially wise for me. But could you imagine what would happen if I did win?